Welcome to the Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC. They'll help you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you listen often, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Now here's your host, four-time #1 best-selling author, speaker, and business coach, Holly Porter.
Hello and welcome back everyone to another day here at the podcast, and we are going to be talking to one of our speakers and influencers mostly at the Prosperity event. So prosperityevent.com. If you go there, you can find out some more information about it. But today is our guest. We have Jennifer Longmore. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm great. You're coming all the way from Canada.
I know, you're going to hear my accent. You'll probably hear it on the show, and then you'll definitely hear it when I'm speaking.
I love it. I've already heard a couple words, and I'm like, oh, it's just so fun to talk to people that talk different.
Yeah, most people think I'm American. I think because most of my clients are American, and I just end up speaking, I don't know, there's kind of like a middle neutral accent, I think, that the majority of North Americans have. And then in the South, for example, there's a certain accent, and then like in Western Canada, there's a certain accent, but for the most part, I think I sound closer to American than I do Canadian.
I would say,
I just want to talk about this the whole show.
Yeah, no, it's cute. I love it. I like when people mix their accents from different places in the world that they've lived in, and you can't tell where it's from, but it's very unique, you know? So tell us your story. Like, tell the listeners a little bit more about you, and, you know, you're an entrepreneur. Tell us, like, how you got started in all this.
I grew up in a working class household with my parents taking me to the kitchen window saying, do you see a money tree growing back there? They both worked hard. You know, I grew up, I think like most people, that you have to work hard for the sake of working hard. You have to work hard to make money. You have to work hard to keep money. And if people perceive that you're not working hard for either, that you're somehow not worthy or deserving of having that. So I worked hard. Right? That's just what was in my blood. In high school, I had like 3 to 5 part-time jobs that all ended up probably being the equivalent of a full-time job while I was going to school full-time. When I went to university, I had the equivalent of about two full-time jobs just at university. And then I had a full-time job on the weekends. I was working in a group home, and I worked Friday night from 10:30 until Sunday night at 10:30. It was full-time. I got benefits. That's what put me through university. But I burnt out because newsflash, you can't keep that going forever, right? And yeah, we could analyze it and say maybe I was running from something, whatever, right? Who knows? But all I know is that I was doing a great job at doing what my parents taught me, which was to work hard. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's made me who I am. I'm a go-getter by nature. I think most entrepreneurs are just ambitious. They're always asking what's next, and that's always been my mindset. So it was great training for me. I learned a lot about money at that time. I learned how to make it myself, balance it, all the things, right? Which I've come to learn in all the money coaching I do, that most people don't have that. Right. So I'll admit that I don't have a lot of patience for people that have been spoon-fed and then want to whine about not having certain things, because I had to work. You know, I moved out when I was 18, put myself through school, so on and so on, right? But so grateful for all of that. And so I feel like I'm creating this balance between, you know, putting in effort, but not working for the sake of working. Like, it's still easy for me to be busy because I don't, in a lot of ways, know how to be unbusy, right? So I'll take time and, you know, maybe go to a spa day once a year. I make time for things like self-care and friends and stuff. I've got a family, and I've got a dog and a 9-year-old boy and a husband and a few businesses, and I find a way to work with all of that. But I think, you know, these patterns can work for us, and they can work against us depending on how much balance we have in them, right? So, but one of the things that I learned when I went to university, I became a forensic social worker. I ended up working in forensics. So I had to go to court all the time, interview some very crazy people. And I say that, you know, literally, a lot of sociopaths, a lot of psychopaths, and a lot of personality disorders and stuff. So I grew up very quickly. And the same stuff I help my clients with now, all the wounded inner child stuff, all the things that keep them from where they are, that was all great training ground. I loved my clients. It was more the politics that I didn't like, and the paycheck, because I was a public servant. So I was only ever making just enough to get by or not quite enough to get by. And for anyone that has a JOB, which stands for just over broke, doesn't matter how much you make in that, you will always be broke on some level, in part because you're just really entrenching the belief that you have to get paid for your time. And then it's hard to break that cycle, right? Even for me, there's times I catch myself. I mean, it's very easy for me to sell my time. I have a full coaching roster all the time. Selling my time isn't the issue for me. It's actually unlearning how to sell my time as a way of generating income, right? So anyways, but I woke up one day with massive adrenal fatigue, as most people do in that kind of job, policing and ambulance and all those kind of professions. And I thought, oh my goodness, like, is this the next 40 years of my life? Am I literally going to spend the next 40 years, 40 years, living for the weekend, barely having a social life because I'm too tired to do anything after work? My hours are way longer than they're supposed to. Getting Sunday afternoon dread, and anyone that's had a job that they didn't like knows exactly what I'm talking about. And as Sunday creeps along and it's 4 o'clock, now it's 5 o'clock, now it's 8 o'clock, you can feel the anxiety rising. Then Monday morning comes and you think to yourself, am I going to hit the snooze button, or am I going to just get up and go to work? Am I going to call in today? And what was the excuse I used last time when I didn't want to go in?
Right.
Or am I just going to go in? And so, you know, that's kind of a cute little, you know, way of explaining it. But really, what was the point of all of that struggle to barely get by, to barely be able to pay off my credit card? I never paid off my credit card in full at that time in my life.
Right.
And I wouldn't have even told you that I was money motivated. I didn't see it as money motivation. It was more just like quality of life.
Yeah.
So at the time I was already trained in Reiki, and, you know, my lineage is, I have a lot of psychics in my family and stuff. But I thought, I'll have to get a job doing that, and there's no jobs for that. So where am I going to go? And I eventually took the leap and trusted that the net would catch me. And I started my business about 15 years ago, full time, right? I was doing it kind of on the side before that.
Right.
And I immersed myself in entrepreneur speak. I went to networking events to learn how these aliens spoke. It all felt very foreign to me, right? Like, what are you people talking about? I don't understand. What do you mean you get up when you want? Like, don't you wake up to an alarm? What are you talking? You know, like, just every possible aspect of entrepreneurship, I had no concept of.
Wow.
But I surrounded myself with that and made connections and saw people doing what I was doing. So then that gave me permission to say, okay, well, if they're doing it, there's space for it. It wasn't about me competing with them. It's just about me knowing that there's a demand for that type of work. And boy, was there a demand. I actually was super busy in my first year of business. And so it's evolved now to the point where a good chunk of my time is spent business coaching and really helping people, aside from the strategy piece, right, is helping people burst through their upper limit, especially those of us that are high achievers, because we actually, I feel, get more stuck than the average person. Because we move at the speed of light in a lot of ways, but we get really stuck in our own stuff, like the perfection paralysis, the analysis paralysis, comparisonitis, things like that. And we're really good at not asking for help. And we're always going to bottleneck, always. I've been there, so I know. We're always going to bottleneck when we can't figure out how to leverage and delegate, right? And if we're high achievers, we take a great deal of pride in doing it all ourselves because we can do it. And so I help people break a lot of that stuff that's keeping them at their upper limit, because by the time people come to me, they're maybe making, you know, $500K a year, let's say, but they've been there for 3 years in a row. And it's not about the money at that point, because we don't need $500K to survive. It's more just that money is that mirror to tell us what's shifting, what's changing, what's not. It's like a benchmark, or it's like a finish line, right?
Right.
And so when we keep wanting to cross a finish line that we can't cross, then that's usually when people reach out to someone like me, right, to say, okay, like something's going on here. I need you to help me crack this code because I'm banging my head against a wall. And even though I'm doing fine, I don't enjoy the way I'm living my life right now. It doesn't feel good. It feels heavy. So anyways, that's my verbal diarrhea.
Who's your ideal avatar, would you say?
I like to work with, I just naturally attract high achievers. They don't have to be educated. I'm not a big fan of education per se. Like, I don't feel like that makes the person. I've met a lot of emotionally stunted people with PhDs, right? So it's not, education isn't necessarily the thing, but definitely high achieving, emotionally mature go-getters, right? People that are already in business, they're already established, they're making a profit. They might be ready to hire their first team member, or they have a few team members, and they need to learn how to turn their team into a team, right? Because we're usually, I always say, like, the journey to six figures is learning how to let go of employee mindset, right, and learning how to deal with the wounds. Usually we have a mother wound and a father wound that we have to heal, because business tends to be both of those components, right? We unknowingly relate to the world through that lens of whatever those wounds are. And so things like entitlement and being invisible and, I don't know, just different things that will go on for someone. And then from six figures to mid six figures, it's learning how to not only let go and delegate and leverage, but it's learning how to call in the right support. People usually screw up big time hiring their team members in that first period, right? And then they learn to ask the right questions. They just start to learn how to lead a team, because when you're a go-getter, you really can do a lot on your own. And so we tend to struggle with delegating. And then from mid six figures to seven figures, that's really about relentless delegation and learning how to extract yourself out of the business, and not the brand being solely about you and about the business helping people, as opposed to I help people, right? So there's different mindset shifts that'll happen, I feel, between those different points.
Okay.
But
sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I just wonder, what kind of changes do you see the most in the people that you serve?
Well, they definitely make a lot more money, because I usually give people a pay raise when they come to me. I can't even think of a time where someone comes to me and tells me that they don't know why they're not making more money, and then they tell me what they're charging, and I go, oh my goodness, like this is ending today. And they usually gulp and poop their pants a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I just know, based on their expertise and what the market will bear and stuff, I have a pretty good sense of what prices sort of fly and how to market those things.
Right.
And so I love giving people pay raises. They'll listen to me. They usually say, oh, I kind of knew that, but like, you're working hard for this money. You don't have to work this hard. Let's raise your rates, and then we can start creating space for you to work on your business instead of always working in your business. So I love doing that. They always end up getting a pay raise and making more money, not just from the pay raise, but because we focus on where it makes sense, right? We do a profit map and figure out, like, where should your energy actually go in your business. And then there's all kinds of other cool things that'll happen. Like, my client just told me the other day, she's lost 45 pounds since we started coaching. She hasn't done anything different. Right. She just was releasing a lot of the stuff, right? And she hadn't told me. I'm like, why are you telling me this? I've had other people, a lot of times if people are in relationship and they come to me, they're in a stressed relationship, like highly strained relationship, because if anyone's read The Big Leap, we all know that when things are going well in other areas, we tend to have an area of our life that we can't allow to be good. And so if the business is going well, then usually the partnership is not going so well. So they'll come to me with strained relationships, and very quickly, we don't focus on the relationships, but because they're shifting their relationship with themselves and their business and with money, it naturally just ripples out. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, for people that are single that want to attract someone because they've shifted whatever they need to shift inside around relationship, then that partner that they've been wanting, usually for a long time, all of a sudden shows up, and I get the email that they've started dating or they've met the one or whatever.
The one. Okay, so what's like an ideal great day for you? What does that look like?
Like a personal day?
Yeah, just for you, like, or anything. What's a perfect day for you?
My son was homesick the other day, and even though he was sick, we had a great day because we got to have really cool, like he's 9. He just turned 9, by the way. So he started just initiating all these philosophical conversations with me. Like, and, how did the universe bring us together and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, who is this kid, right? But we wouldn't have had that conversation otherwise. So we had such a heartfelt day, and the dog, of course, is jumping on the bed in between us, licking our faces. And my honey was at work, but when he came back, we had a nice family day. So that's not how I'd want to spend every day, because of course I don't want him to be sick. But right. I like those days where I can just be in the moment with whatever the moment is requiring me of that time, and feel present, right? Yes. I was present. I was like, you know what? My business is important, but my son's my priority. I don't want to be on the phone all afternoon, which is what my schedule looked like. So I moved some people around, and I have the ability to do that because there's nothing 911 about what I do, what you do, what I think most of us do, right? We tend to act as though it is, but it's not. So I like days where I can just make the priority be whatever it is. Sometimes it is my self-care, and I like being able to, go for a few hours and get pampered or whatever. But an ideal day is with my family, outside, hiking with the dog, living a pretty chill life. Yeah. That's an ideal day.
Well, no, that's good. And I think a lot of people would say that. And it's interesting you said that about your son, because I think let's compare that, like when we're stressed or we have a lot of things going on, I feel like you're a little more sentimental, and you're also a little more present, because of what you're going through. I feel like that anyway. That probably crosses over to most people. And so I think that could be a time that you really could do. I mean, if you're sick, you're sick, but I'm just thinking when there's things, that's why I think maybe journaling, or even if you're texting it into your notes, whatever, I think that's good healing stuff for people. I don't know, it just made me think of that when you said that about him. I thought, yeah, because when you're in that space, I feel like you're thinking, you're just, I don't know, you're more open maybe to how things, and you're open more to your surroundings maybe. I don't know. I'm just wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah, I guess, he couldn't engage in a lot of the regular things because his presence wasn't there, right? He wasn't interested in watching a movie. He wasn't really interested in playing some of his video games. I tend to limit that stuff anyways, but
that's worldly stuff.
He wasn't drawn to it. He didn't have the capacity to just focus on it. He really just wanted to be snuggled and talk, and he initiated that, right? So, oh my goodness. I'm trying not to cry as he's telling me this. I'm like, no, I just have something in my eye.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but that's the cool thing about having getting to the point where you shift your money story enough that you can design your business in such a way. That's true freedom. It doesn't matter how much money you have, but when you can actually
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.
Any of those heavy, I call it the blame, shame, judgment game, and we tend to live in that place a lot, right? And so even if you have $1 billion, but you're living in that triangle, right, you don't have freedom. You have a little bit of freedom. Yeah, you can be sad having no money. You can be sad having a lot of money. You can be happy having no money, happy having a lot of money. But where's the freedom in that, right? If your brain's always worried or somewhere else, or you're just not happy where you want to be.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so true. Well, what else could you share? I mean, you're going to be at the event, and you're one of our 30-minute speakers, and you're coming also as an influencer, because that's what you truly are. And you're going to run the lunch masterminds that we have going on during lunch. So everybody gets to come and, bring your questions.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Give me your business. Let me get my hands on your business. I want it.
I love it. Yes, me too. And what I'm excited about, and I don't know if you knew this, but the first day, everybody will be signed to a mentor, that's going to be an influencer. And the second day, they get to sit with who they want. So I think it's fun. fun because Friday night at the event, we network after the event. So we have some hors d'oeuvres and we hang out, you know, with everybody with their tables, and you'll get to go have conversations and they'll get asked you questions and get to know them. And so when you see somebody that you really connected with, whether they were at your table before that day or not, say, hey, tomorrow when we mastermind, go sit at my table or come sit at my table. It'll be a great way for people to just dig a little deeper. So I really say, oh yeah, sit at the same person's every day. It's not about that. But if you're really connecting with somebody, or you feel like the business didn't get completed, you know, then go ahead. Yeah, tell them that on Friday night, because, and same with you coming, you listeners that are coming to the event, if you really resonate with that person, just when we're done, you get on that table where they're sitting then, because then you'll get a genius even more, right? Anyway. So that being said, she's going to be there along with some others. There's some great people coming. It's going to be a really fabulous place to be. I hope you all can, you know, clear your schedule so you can get there and really, again, like she was saying, be present. Be present at the event. You know, just be there. You're going to be there. It's long days, but I promise you it will be worth it. We take, you know, good long breaks. So if you need to go, you know, check email real quick or your phone, that's fine. But even better, if you can delegate it. You know, Jennifer's talked about that. You know, learn to delegate those things so that you can be there and have the life you desire. That's really what you're coming to the event for, is to create more of the good stuff, right? We want the good life. Right? So
can I just say about that too? Like, I just went to an event in June that I created for myself. Like it was for me. It wasn't for my clients. And I forgot, because I go to events, but I also, you know, I mentioned I have my family and stuff. And so that's usually my filter. Is this worth getting on an airplane for, right? Yeah. That's literally what I say. Am I willing to leave my family behind for this? And so I get that. And we all have those things, right? We all have the thing that we use as the compass as to whether we're going to step into that. But I forgot how important it is for me to take time away from my business, because we end up getting in the weeds. We just get in the weeds of life and business, right? And then we wonder why things aren't flowing. It's because we haven't gone up to the penthouse. We haven't taken the elevator up to the penthouse to get the 360 view. We're always just getting the ground level view. And so anyways, I forgot how important it is to be, first of all, in the collective consciousness of whatever is being talked about. So in this case, it's prosperity, right? Your brain is naturally just going to hear things differently, as I did at that event, because everyone's brain, you know, it's like this telepathic message almost, right? Where everyone's like, hey, let's tune into something bigger here. Let's look at where I can invite in more abundance and prosperity and so on. But then on the airplane home, because my brain got cleared, because I created space, right, to allow new information to come in, I downloaded like a $2.5 million additional revenue stream for my business that I know for certain would not have dropped in had I not taken time away and literally changed the scenery. I think physically we have to get out of our physical comfort zone and if we say we want to go to a new destination in our lives or our businesses, it doesn't happen in the same physical location. You actually have to leave that, because you don't grow in comfort, right? I know it's uncomfortable to go travel and hop on an airplane and sit around a bunch of people you don't know, especially if you're an introvert. All of that's uncomfortable. Of course it is, right? We can make it comfortable. Right. But it's in that discomfort that we get the very thing we keep saying we want, which is growth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
That's my sermon.
Well, okay, everybody, we're going to wrap this up, but you know where to find Jennifer and get more of this genius, and you'll know where to sit by her at the mastermind table. That's where you want to be, and you should be, right? There'll be so many great, amazing things happening, and so many shifts, and you know, everybody coming there, we're also getting them more visibility by, you know, recording them speaking. So a lot of them that are speaking 15 and 30 minutes, you're getting their best stuff, guys, because that's what I've said. Bring your best stuff to the stage, because they'll have it on video. So you're going to come and learn so many amazing things. So I hope that you realize how important it's going to be at the prosperityevent.com. Go grab your ticket. Early bird tickets are only $197, and that includes your food for 2 days. So Gosh, can't get better than that. So anyway, we hope you come and join us. And thank you, Jennifer. We're excited. And I haven't got to meet Jennifer in person. We just had conversations. So I'm super excited to actually give her a hug in person and meet her for real. So thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Bye for now, everybody.
Thank you for listening to Prosperity Profiles Podcast, sponsored by Prosperity Profilers, LLC, helping you look prosperous, feel prosperous, and be prosperous. We hope you enjoyed our time together, and we'll visit again soon. You can learn more about Prosperity Profilers by going to hollyporter.com.